Through our own self-inquiry and growing spiritual maturity, there comes a time when we take full responsibility for what we're feeling and experiencing in these forms. It's possible to come to know that nobody else is to blame for what we're feeling. They're just being themselves, and in that, it's showing us something about ourselves. Something is triggered about ourselves. There's a story, a belief, some history, or maybe even simply the way the body's wired or programmed to operate as part of its character fixation. Whatever the reason, with spiritual maturity, we come to know that we are responsible for what arises in these forms. We're responsible for not acting on them. We're responsible for meeting them and opening to them without using that in any way against somebody else or to move away from somebody else or even towards somebody else. We come to know that we don't control what emotion is arising to be experienced. Let's try an experiment just now, okay? So get a clear idea of what emotion you're feeling right now. And whatever that emotion is, just mentally choose an emotion which is the exact opposite. And without telling yourself any story, without bringing up any past memory, make yourself feel that emotion now, right now. No stories, no memory, no replay. Simply make yourself feel that emotion. Can you do that? No, I can't. It arises from that who we truly are. And there has to be something else that turns it into what we're experiencing, stories or memories, whatever. But a pure emotion. You can't make yourself feel a pure emotion. So how can anybody else control what you're feeling? You can't control your emotion yourself without telling yourself a story. So how can anybody else control your emotions unless there's some history, some wiring? I was talking with someone yesterday and projection, the topic of projection came up. And it occurred to me that there's, well, perhaps two, maybe more slightly different variations to projection. One of them can be a subconscious projection, when a judgment arises of another person and we find ourselves accusing someone or judging someone else of something. Oh, you're just an angry person, you're in your head all the time, I can't trust you, you're so judgmental. Now when we hear these judgments, chances are, if we turn those judgments back towards ourselves, we can learn more about ourselves, learn more about something perhaps we haven't realised before, some belief or morality, some experience, or just the way we operate. But it helps shine the light back on us. So that's part of taking responsibility whenever you find yourself judging someone else. See if it's actually about you. Now the other kind of projection is one that perhaps is a little bit more conscious, but I guess can still be subconscious. And this is one that we use for all sorts of reasons. We use it to stay safe or keep the peace or show that we're loving and deserving of love, to create an image, whatever it is. But it's when we use our own experience of a set of circumstances in an effort to pretend that we know what's happening for the other person. So, for instance, this character fixation is a mental one. So in a set of circumstances, for me to stay safe, I have to know what you're thinking. I have to know what you believe, what your moralities are, what you expect of me. And so I'll use past history. But there's also the element of using how I would be experiencing that circumstance, what I'd be thinking, what I'd possibly be judging of the other person. And then I'll put that onto you in an effort to stay safe. Now the same can be said for people whose character fixations work more on the emotional body. So for whatever reason, they'll use their own past history, their own knowledge of how they would feel in a particular set of circumstances, and then project that onto the other person to show that they're empathetic, that they're loving, that they're caring, or even to improve your own image by showing how much you know of them and care of them so that they can love you back. Whatever the reason is. So it'll be a projection of what I would emotionally experience, and again putting it onto the other person. And then if you're a body type fixation, you'll use your body sensations and you'll project those sensations onto the other person. So you might find some way the lounge room's set out, really comfortable, particularly comfortable. And you'll go or you might go somewhere or have someone over and to again, for whatever reason, numerous reasons, to keep the peace or to just, be loving and caring, you'll make sure that what you find comfortable is what's prepared and offered to them for their comfort. Maybe it's food, whatever it is. But there'll be a projection of what you experience in your body. So if you feel the cold and someone's about to go outside and it's cold out there and they haven't got a scarf on, you might find yourself projecting and offering them a scarf or suggesting that they wear a scarf when they go out. It's not actually about them, it's not actually about asking them what their actual experience is. It's about you using your own knowledge, your own experiential circumstance and projecting that onto the other person. Now that may sound fairly innocuous, but when we're talking about taking responsibility for ourselves, the moment we find ourselves projecting, we've sold out. We're no longer staying true to that empty, spacious awareness that's here always. We're not respecting that the other person has their own set of circumstances. We can't even hope to know. How can you even know and understand yourself, really? How complex we are. How can you ever really know what it is that's causing a particular response in you? All your own personal history, But then there's the genetic history that's passed through your family. There could be past life experiences, whatever it is. The expression of life through these forms is so complex. How can we truly know the reason, the cause for what we may be experiencing emotionally or sensations? So if we can't understand ourselves, we can't actually know what's happening for ourselves. The ego may try and tell us that to maintain some semblance of power and illusion of control, but we don't know, and we can't know what's happening for the other person, and that's not our business. And really, if you think about it, it's not respecting them and honouring them. You can only open to what's here within yourself. If you find yourself projecting, have a look. What does it mean? What does it give you? What is it still trying to protect? Who is it still trying to protect? Who is still trying to gain from it? And is that who the one you want to serve? Is that who the one you want to stay true to? Or is it to something else? Something boundless, infinite, that's animating all life. It's here right now, between each breath, between each thought. It includes everything. So if you're willing, take a look at how you interact with others. Are you taking responsibility? Are you using each opportunity to gain more insight about what takes you away from who you truly are? What fails you? What illusions are still present that are in some way limiting your experience of life? Blessings on your unfolding discoveries. Namaste.